in here. Listen, I have hijacked a couple people, and not under duress, but it was like I asked them within the last minute if they could say something about me, whether they think it's true or not, good or bad. And then we're going to start more food. But thank you again for coming. You don't know what this means to me. Thank you so much. Gretchen, I was liquor in my hand. So everybody in here is my favorite someone. Y'all know who y'all are. Y'all know who y'all are. But yes. Okay. But these people I have selected, and if anybody else wants to, but you don't have to, because I know you love me and I love you. Who said that? Me. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to give the microphone first to my current president ever. Oh, I don't work there anymore. Kevin reminds me, Kevin told me, Carol, stop coming up in here. I only went 3 days last week, and one of them was a holiday. So I didn't work there only went 3 days. I was impressed. Come and turn it over to Everett.
Let's give a shout to girl. 1, 2, please. In the short space of time I've been walking around the room, I've met folks from college who went to college with Carol, from North Carolina, from Virginia, from all over the place. Told me stuff about you. No, they didn't. They would tell. And as I see folks in the room, all of you have unique Carl Miller stories. And one day, we've got Gretchen. Where's Gretchen? Gretchen is taking pictures, so make sure that Gretchen finds a way to take. There she is. Make sure you find a way to get in the picture so Gretchen can put those on our website so we can have them and continue the celebration. I mean, these celebrations will go on forever once Gretchen gets your pictures. I want to thank all of you for coming on behalf of Community College of Denver. Back when it was in a car dealership. Who told me that right here? Yeah, there we go. When the truth told me it was in a car dealership. And Carol has been a part of this growth and this tremendous maturation of our community college, and that she truly represents the best in the community college in every possible way. Talking to folks who said, you know, Carol just is Carol, and I said, what's that mean? She's just Carol. How many know what that means? Carol, we love you. Congratulations. We know you'll be back. We're glad you're
Now listen, I'm going to turn this over to, he's my current president. Okay, he was my current president up until a couple weeks ago. But this is the woman, she's a president now, she's not my president, but she was the dean who inspired me to get a PhD. So I thank her for that. Without me, I would not have done it. And it was Eric too, and that's another story. Eric and Linda inspired me to get a PhD.
So I met Carol in 2001. I came to the Center for Business and Technology at the Community College of Denver. Will all the CBT people stand up, wave, raise your hands? So there was this chair. I would be in a meeting and I would say, okay, we're going to do this. And then she would come into my office and she would say, Linda, I've been thinking about this. And what do you think? How many of you have gotten that line from Carol? A lot of you? And in her gentle way, she would make me stop and rethink and recalibrate. So she was always my true north. And I knew how smart and caring and dedicated she was, and I knew she had it in her to be anything she wanted to do, but I kept talking talking to her about what's called the golden ticket. Didn't we talk about that? The golden ticket?
Yes.
Yeah. And I think halfway through that PhD program, she was ready to throw me off the island. Yeah. But she didn't. But you know what she's doing now? She's paying it forward. How many of you have been mentored, coached, coaxed, motivated, or pushed or nudged a little bit by Carol Miller? Raise your hand. So I know her next chapter is going to be amazing, and I hope you all stay tuned because I don't know what you're doing next, girlfriend, but it's going to be good. Thank you.
Okay, so I do appreciate her doing this for me because I know a lot of you would have, but one of the first people I met when I came to Denver, and the first person I met, where is he? Bill? That is the first person I met when I got to Denver and asked him a favor when I first met him.
Yeah.
Bill, what did I ask you?
Yeah, move your stuff.
I said, hi, I'm Carol. Can you help me get a trunk from downtown Denver? And he did it. And we've been friends ever since. Okay. So I would like to introduce Deborah Hall. I remember when I first came here, she introduced herself as Deborah, and I said, hi, Deborah. She said, no, no, no. My name is Deborah. And I remember from that day. And I met, I think you were like the fifth person I met when I came to Denver. And this woman she's inspired me. She's solved the world's problems with me. When I was a young married person, so tell you how long we've known each other. I won't tell you about the years, how many years ago we were at DU, but I'm going to turn it over to Deborah, and she'll tell you a little bit about me.
Greetings. I think this is on. Yes. First of all, so I'll represent University of Denver. So we have to have all of our DU friends. We come from near and far to be with Carol. If we can get a wave from our DU friends. Carol, as you all know, she is inspirational to me. And you know, she comes up to you, even if she has something to say to you to correct you, she'll say, now, sweetie, say what she has to say. But as I was mingling this afternoon, one of Carol's esteemed colleagues asked me if I could share stories about Carol. You know, he wanted some dirt, right? And I was standing there and I was thinking, I was like, there is none. I was like, Carol is so wholesome. I couldn't even come up. We used to we would try to encourage her to not be so wholesome. But it didn't work. She's just so wholesome and sweet. She never did anything like out of order, right? So that's Carol, and we love her. And Carol today is all about you. And you know, we try not to be so sentimental and start crying, right? And start crying and carrying on. But Carol is a sweetheart. We love her. But as you see her, she exudes love. Yes. And that's our friend.
Very nice. I'm going to just hand the microphone to Chuck because his presence will introduce him. But this is Chuck.
Thank you. My name's Chuck Parson. I'm a recently retired fellow teacher, and she asked me to make a few comments, so I'm going to try to overcome my shyness. Obviously, yeah. All right, the first time, I want you to think about the first time you met Carol. Carol has always been supportive from the very beginning in my friendship and professional dealings with her. Let me give you the very first encounter with her. I had spent a very long interview with the president of the Community College of Denver at the time, Christine Johnson, being interviewed, and 2 days later, I'm hired, and I am invited to a chair's meeting. And it's in a room with a very long table. And the lectern was right at the front where the door was. And we're all sitting, and I'm thinking, I want to stay low on the horizon. So I sat way in the back, just off to the side of the table. Christine Johnson walks in, looks around the room, looks at me, and kind of does this eye contact, whispers something to one of the chairs. I think it was Mike Mackey. He picks the lectern up, takes it all the way to the other end of the room, sets it down, and it's now the front of the room, and I'm sitting right next to the president. She looks over and says, I'm going to keep an eye on you. I look up, kind of panic-stricken, and this woman is sitting right across the way, and she just kind of gives that wonderful big smile, kind of like, welcome. But to see her presence, in particular in faculty council meetings, the strength of conviction, and I didn't understand quite where that came from until I heard her last lecture on April 22nd. And I look over at this beautiful woman sitting in the white dress here. That's your mother, correct? And you start to understand the strength of character that Carol has exhibited forever as a teacher, but in particular as a leader at the Community College of Denver. Her strength in faculty council was unbelievable. And that's when we started developing a friendship. I have to tell you, for those of you that never had the unique opportunity to walk in her office, oh my God, it was a picture of the inside of her mind. You would walk in, and there's stuff all over the desk. The computer is set up, the laptop is open. She's on the cell phone while the regular landline is going. Students would be walking in. Meanwhile, you would see a teacher coming by for some kind of support, whatever. The secretary would come over and be trying to get her attention. Meanwhile, and I know she did this with all of you, she would reach over across the chaos of her desk, give that award-winning smile, and pat me on the hand and say, Chuck, just stay. I need to talk to you. You know what, that's right. I will, on a very serious note, personally, the conversations we had from our perspective as parents, when you describe some of the conversations you needed to have with your son, and some of the conversations I needed to have with my son, to have that kind of personal linkage, to go across the street and sit at that, what's the lousy Mexican restaurant? But to sit there and talk about even, I didn't say that. Anyway, that was wonderful. On Independence Pass, between the Twin Lakes and Aspen, I used to drive over that all the time when I was exhibiting at the museum in Aspen, and I would stop. I would get out and walk along that path, and there is a very clear demarcation for you to understand. If you step off the path, you make a footprint. And that footprint, though very shallow in a quarter inch, takes up to 100 years to eventually disappear. Her impact on this particular institution will be lasting, I think, for decades, and I think we should give her a big round of applause.
All the time, aren't you glad you're retiring? I'm really not. I'm not going to stop working. I retired for, let's face it, financial reasons and health reasons, because I working all day and working all night. But when Chuck described that scene in my office, that's what I love the most about what I did. Up until a month before I retired, I'm running around and I said, oh my God, I love this place. I love doing this. So yeah, I should have took a picture. I should have put that on the wall. I'm gonna go put all that stuff back and take a picture.
Yeah.
So now I'm gonna have one of my favorite people and sister come up. Are you on the phone? Yeah, she did have a phone. We can get him on the phone so he can hear what you say.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay.
So I'm Carol's youngest sister, Lisa, and it's easy for me to talk in front of you all because I don't know most of you all. And I teach first grade for 24 years, and it's easy for me to talk in front of them because they're first graders. So I met Carol in 1962. And my first remembrance of her was probably 1965 or 1966, because when you're young, you don't remember. But I'm so proud of Carol. I've been thinking for the last few days what I wanted to say. I'm so proud of her. Okay. So, she's come a long way. And when we went to Thornton today, and I tell Lindsay and Lauren, my daughters, about different things that I remember from being in Denver since 1973, when Carol first went away to school. We went here a lot, and I consider Denver like our second home. So I know a lot about Denver. And so when we went to Thornton, I was telling Lindsay and Lauren that this was the way I went to Boulder, because I went to school in Boulder when I was in college. Not for long. And I told somebody, Candace and Scott, that I told my mom, I was like, I'm not gonna go to Boulder. They was like, okay, just come home. Instead of saying, go to school there. But anyway, when we were in Thornton, I was just thinking about all the different times that we drove to school there. And that's what I was saying, I'm remembering it now. Carol used to call us when she was getting her PhD at Fort Collins, and I just admired her so much for getting her PhD, because it's something that I never did. I have 2 more years before I retire, and I never got a PhD, but I have like 5 degrees, which doesn't make any sense, because I could have gotten a PhD. I have like 3 masters, 2 bachelor's degrees, and 3 masters.
Certification and something?
And then certifications, but I just feared getting a PhD. So I'm just like, she did something that we didn't do. So, but, I'm glad that you all are here, and we're thankful. I'm really thankful. My dad would be so proud. He's not here.
He is proud.
My dad retired. My dad passed away May 5th, 2013, and my mom is still here. She's 87 years old. My sister's not here. She passed away a year ago, May 5th, 2018. She would have been here. My brother's here, and my kids, and my brother that lives in Maryland is not here, but we're all here to support her. So we're really proud of her. And Janice is here. But I just think about everything that I wanted to say, and I've been thinking about it for days, and I'm like, Carol needs to call one of us up here as her family, because we've been here with her throughout this whole time. Because I told Lindsay and Lauren today, I said, Carol used to call me every Thursday evening and think I was going to talk to her for like 2 hours while she drove back from Fort Collins. Like, I can't do it, Carol. But anyway, be quiet, Lauren. You're supposed to be taping this for Rain. I got it. Okay, but anyway. So, Carol, we're proud of you. And we thank you. And, if I was going to work another 7 years, I would get my PhD. But I'm not going to do it. Oh, thank you.
That came from.
Oh, they came from.
Okay, we're gonna stop with the talking. That's enough. I just needed, some more love. Yes, sir, we have it. You should hold me over for.
We love you, Carol.
I remember there was a time when I couldn't talk in front of people.
When was that?
Did you want to say something?
Do you want me to? Yes, ma'am. I'm gonna keep this really brief. Okay. I have known Carol since my freshman year at DU. I always tease them. They're older than me. I'm from St. Louis. Yay! Yay! St. Louis in the house. Carol is the kindest, sweetest, most humble person on this planet. She will do anything for you at any time. But she's also a little kooky. That's what we love about her. I had moved away from Denver for a while, and we had lost touch briefly. And I came back, and I couldn't find her number. And I was in the hairdresser one day, and this woman is sitting across from me, and she keeps staring at me. And I'm like, what is her problem? And finally she says, why? And I said, Carol? And she said, oh, your name is Carol? Oh, okay, you're not the person I thought. That is so my friend.
No, so finish. So when she said, no, your name is
Your name is Carol.
No, and that's all you had to say. And then I jumped up, she jumped up, water was flying everywhere, the shower caps came on.
So during the years, I've lost my brother, I've lost my mother, I've lost people, and Carol and Michael have just taken me in like a wounded puppy. I fall asleep on their sofa at night, they feed me. We talk politics because they love to have any political situation on the television screen. And I'm so family, I can say, can I change that? And they say, okay. So I am honored to be here tonight to see her at the pinnacle of success and retiring, and know that all the people in this room love you, and I certainly love you. And I can't be closer to you than a sister. So with that, thank you and congratulations.
So I'm going to turn this over to Michael because he wanted to share a toast.
Yes.
Oh no, what? What? What's that? How do you do that?
So this is going to be a toast. So Carol and I have known each other since 1973. So we've known each other for a long, long, long time. And so. And so we've always supported each other. I've always been her big supporter, and throughout all of her educational journeys, you all think that she's going to retire and not do anything. You guys are sadly mistaken. Sadly mistaken. Although she won't be working as much, she's going to do different things. And so she's going to do some more things with her education, educate her PhD. Hopefully one of us will write a book. One of us who has a PhD. Okay. But anyway, I want to toast Carol to 33 years of excellence in education. So this is to you, Liz. So, so now the food is ready. So we can also, you guys can line up and get we have prime rib, we have turkey, there's a macaroni cheese, there's a sweet potato bar, a baked potato bar with different, mashed potato bar with different toppings and things like that. So please, have at it. Thank you.